Okay, I got a chance to do a little bit of work on my Skywalker today. Getting a little bit closer to being done, but it's taking some time. Basically, what I've got today is I'm pretty much finished with the fuselage, with the exception of some considerations of mounting my hardware and running some wires. So I chose to mount my servos in some plywood servo mounts. I epoxied those to the back of the airplane, and I was able to just screw the servos into that. You know, that's going to make it easier for me to take them out if I need to do that in the future. I've got just enough wire inside there to pull the servos out and take them apart if I need to do that. Hopefully I won't, but you never know. The other thing that I'm working on is the original motor mount is a plywood mount that's designed to recess into that little indentation right there, and it's supposed to be glued in place. But you're really supposed to mount your motor on it without the cross mount on the motor. You screw the motor in from the back of the plywood motor mount, then you glue the whole thing on to the airplane. I don't really think that's a very good design. You can't take the motor off like that without whacking the plane up, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the cross mount for my motor, but it's too big to fit on the original motor mount. So what I have to do is I'll put my motor mount in, and then I've got a bigger motor mount that I'm going to epoxy on to the outside, and then my motor will mount there. I'll be able to take it off if I need to in the future. Flipping the Skywalker around. The other thing I've got done is my hatch. I just basically cut it out. It's embossed where it's supposed to be cut. If you want to do a hatch, you don't have to if you don't want to. And then I've got it hinged with strapping tape and some rare earth magnets to keep it closed, and it provides a lot of access inside. You know, it's nothing new. This is all standard Skywalker stuff. But I do have a question for anybody who's built this plane before or who flies this plane regularly. To hold the wings on, you've got two small carbon fiber spars. They're designed to slip through the fuselage through this hole and this hole right here. Now there's no reinforcement in the foam in that area. You just slip the carbon fiber through it, and then you strap your wings onto that. Now it looks to me like that's going to be a weak spot over time. I think after strapping that thing on, and basically all of the airplane's weight with the exception of the wing is going to be hanging from these two holes in the foam right there. So I'm concerned about that hole getting loose or wallowing out a bit. Or even in a hard landing or a crash or something like that, just ripping the foam out right there. So if anybody's got any opinions on that, or does it work okay like it is? Do I need to do some kind of reinforcing? The fuselage is pretty curved, so it's going to be difficult to cut like plywood reinforcements to drill here, but I could probably glue them on the inside before I glue the fuselage together. So anyway, any info on that would be appreciated. The other things I've got done, the control surfaces, I went ahead and cut the control surfaces out, my elevator and my ailerons on my wing, and taped them on. I spent some time looking for that crosshatch fiber tape that everybody's using. I can't find it locally. The only thing I can find is this strapping tape. And this stuff is really strong lengthwise, but since it doesn't have a crosshatch in there, you can tear it this direction. So what I do is I use it lengthwise on the top and then cut small sections on the bottom and kind of crosshatch the weave that way. And it seems to be pretty strong. I think it's going to work fine. I don't think I'll have any problem with the control surfaces like that. I've also got my carbon fiber spar glued in the elevator right there. So this is pretty much ready to go, ready to be mounted. I need to do my control horns, but other than that, that's done. Similarly, the wings, the control surfaces have been cut out and taped on with the same tape, the same cross hatch mounting of the tape. And these are very strong. They're not gonna. I'm not gonna have a problem with it. I need to put my control horns on. I've also inserted another carbon fiber spar. It's that flat stock carbon fiber along the leading edge of the wing, across the dihedral, and then I've reinforced the length of the wing with that strapping tape. So, other than putting my servos in, the wings are done. Another consideration, if you have any ideas about this, is whether or not to glue the wings halves together. A lot of people do. I see them put the spar in, glue the wings together. You got one big 66-inch wing, I guess. If transportation is not a consideration, what's the advantage of gluing the wings together versus just leaving them in half? Is there any advantage of doing that? Should I be looking at that? I can transport this wing if it's glued together without too much problem, but I just don't know whether it's a good idea to do that, or whether I'm going to get any advantages of doing that, or just leave them separate like this. Clearly it's easier to transport if I can take the wings apart. But yeah, anyway, if you have any ideas about that, feel free to, shoot me a comment or whatever. After this, hopefully I will get the electronics sorted out and get the fuselage glued together tonight or tomorrow. And it'll start looking like a plane at that point. Once I get the fuselage glued together, I can start mounting my hardware inside, and hopefully in the next couple of days be ready to take this thing up on its maiden voyage. And I'll have a video of that. So anyway, got any ideas, any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. And other than that, have a good night.